Hello, my name is Princess Wilson, the social media manager at PAM Africa, and with me here is Dr. Patrick Agese. Dr. Patrick, please introduce yourself. Tell us about you
Hi there.
and what you do.
No, thank you. Thank you very much, Princess. Thank you. Yes, as you're right, my name is Dr. Patrick Agese. I'm the founder and CEO of PAM Africa. Really, I started in the solar sector at the age of 11 with my dad, trying to solve the problem of energy access at the time to my local community. Following on that, I went across to the UK to develop solar projects for quite a few developers, and I also kind of studied it to a high level during my education years. And I really had a keen interest in how you can apply energy storage and other innovations to solar. Happy to kind of be leading PAM Africa's activity. And yeah, looking forward to our conversation today.
All right, so can you tell me what PAM Africa does, how our actions, how our activities are trying to solve the energy problem, the electricity problem across Africa?
Sure. The electricity problem across Africa is huge. Like the reigning figure that's going on at the moment is about 500 million Africans. 500 million people do not have access to electricity, and the majority of them are in Africa. So, I mean, our goal at PAM Africa is really to improve the lives of Africans by providing quality energy access. We do this through the deployment of solar, grids, and battery energy storage solutions.
Okay. So from the company website and the company's online profile, I can see that you provide services on you provide mini grid, you offer mini grids to people who need them. So what are mini grids exactly?
Okay, sure. Yeah, mini grids are small and privately owned power systems. The main source of energy is for now is mainly through solar and other renewable energy sources. Solar kind of sits at the main source of power, and they usually range up to about 10 megawatts of capacity. So this can now be distributed across local communities and surrounding areas.
Okay, that sounds amazing. So how does this really, beyond helping the environment, does this help save money? Does this help customers save cost on electricity? How does it really work in that aspect?
Yeah, sure. So it actually does help save money, right? And how does it do this? Because if you compare a mini grid to a traditional grid system, a mini grid is much cheaper. The average cost of a mini grid is about $800 per connection, and that is significantly more for a traditional energy system. Now, the reason why it's so cheap, or not significantly cheap, but quite cheap, is because there's less wires you need to kind of put on the ground to deliver energy to these households. And most of these households are actually more closer to the point of the energy source. And also the materials being used. I mean, a well-designed mini grid can provide just the right amount of energy for a community, no more, no less, making it more economically viable. Now, it's so interesting because when you look at traditional grid, you're going to have more transformers being put into place, more distribution networks being put into place, more safety systems, and also more difficulty when it comes to bringing energy to those areas. But a mini grid is much more smaller, more decentralized, and a lot of the times cheaper than traditional grid.
Yeah, that's cool. So it's cheaper, it helps the environment, and so there's literally no reason not to use it. But what I want to know now is how many houses can the average size mini grid power at the same time, at once rather?
Sure. So let's look at Nigeria as a case, right? In Nigeria, the kind of average mini grid size at the moment is about 60 kilowatts. So a 60 kilowatt system can literally power roughly about 40 to 50 homes in a community, right? But it's important to understand that it's really not about the size, because some of these homes in these rural communities don't actually require a lot of energy as compared to the urban and built areas. So I mean, it's all about the number of connections you can connect to these grids. So for 60 kilowatt peak, which is the average size, and we're looking at about 40 to 50 homes that can be connected to that.
Okay. So from your from what you said earlier, we know that about 1 in 3 Nigerians do not have electricity. So how can minigrids actually help this? What impact would it have in the power sector if it became as prevalent as fossil fuels, for example? So what impact would it have in Africa, in Nigeria?
Sure, sure. So I mean, it has a huge impact because first of all, we're now leapfrogging a couple of generations when it comes to how energy is being provided. So moving from a society which is heavily based on fossil fuel generation, which is not the best for the environment, and also more cost effective. It's more cost effective to deploy mini grids. But like I did say, if we over 500 Africans do not have access to electricity, right? And that usually accounts for almost more than half of the people in the world who do not have access to electricity, actually in mainly sub-Saharan Africa. So I believe that mini grids is part of the solution, but I wouldn't say it's the solution, right? My suggestions would be a mix of various solutions, such as mini grids, natural gas plants, hydrogen, and energy storage. This can really help close the gap for quality energy access.
Okay, so if mini grids are so great, why isn't it as prevalent? Like, what are the challenges hindering the spread, the mass use of mini grids? Like, what is happening? What is stopping it from being implemented?
Yeah, sure. And I mean, there's so many challenges. We face a multitude of that every day when we're looking at our projects. And I think for me, I've been able to synthesize into 4 key areas. One of them is kind of from an economic perspective. We need to be doing more to ensure more fiscal stability in Nigeria. We're looking at we're very aware of the devaluation of the local currency. We're aware of kind of the forex effects to these things. So it's important that when we as developers or others in this space who are distributors are procuring these systems, and they procure them in dollars, right, and foreign currency. So we need to kind of ensure that there's more stability when it comes to the fiscal arrangements in the country. Now, from a technical perspective, there's so many other areas, right? So I mean, there's so many other challenges that we're facing there. So the lack of technical expertise in this area. So we need to kind of encourage more training, more capacity development in this area, and build more capacity for people who can work in the sector. And I think this is also an area that we can encourage more female participation by kind of including them in that technical environment. Now, from a regulatory side of things, what we'd like to actually see is regulators working together with developers to ensure that we're getting some more transfer of knowledge. What I mean by that is, what are some of the things that developers are doing that regulators can incorporate, and what are some of the things that regulators are trying to implement that developers can feed into? So more consultation going around with both the regulators and the developers. We're also seeing a license cap for up to 1 megawatts, right? This is good, but also if we can actually work together with the regulators, we can hopefully ensure that we can increase that cap so that we can generate more than 1 megawatt. And that can also lure in more investment because investors are more likely to take up projects which have more significant size. So I think we're actually looking at, I mean, there's things that are looking very promising. We're also seeing as a result of kind of the government getting involved in this space, the federal government getting involved in this space. So we're seeing new systems, new programs, and new policies being put in place to help this. For example, I'll give an example. In Nigeria, the average growth of a number of mini grids between 2005 and 2015 was about 17%. But what we're expecting that number to actually increase significantly up to its higher digits between now and 2030. So with the government getting involved and supporting the development of mini grids through grants and opportunities in this area has really kind of seen a lot of key players get into the market to help grow this area. And last but not the least, I would say socially, we need more awareness brought into this sector. So there's a lot of players doing good things. There's PAM Africa doing great things as well. We need to kind of bring that more to light to show how we're providing huge impacts to these communities by providing electricity, which they can use for going to school, for the healthcare systems, for leisure and other activities that are important. So we really want to kind of tie this up by saying there's a lot of challenges that we're facing, but also we're seeing a lot of opportunities coming in place.
Okay, thank you. So I wanted to ask you what an individual like me or what corporations or governments can do. But I think you pretty much answered it, but I'm still going to ask here, what can an individual like me do? Do I have to sign petitions? What little things could I do to help push it? What can organizations do? I'm not just talking about solar organizations or renewable organizations. I mean like actual organizations from other industries. What can they also do to help this deployment? What can governments do to ensure that mini grids are massively deployed across the continent?
Yeah, sure. And I think it's when it comes to implementing innovation and new technology in an environment, there's so many different factors and challenges, and the individual plays a key role within that, right? How does the individual play a key role? Because a lot of decisions are being made by the individual, but also from a policy side of things, there's a lot of individuals in those bodies that come together to make those decisions. So what I would kind of encourage is more synergy between process technologies and shared best practices between different bodies, but also helping create awareness about technology, making people more, the general public, more educated about mini grids and the effects of that, the benefits of those to the communities, so that we can start having conversations with more players in this space. We can build more capacity for deployment, and we can encourage more investment to go into the sector. Other things I would probably say is we're yet to kind of see huge collaboration successes, but there's a few key players started working together and talking together in different sectors, and not just in the electricity sector. We can say, okay, well, how do we really go ahead to solve this power problem that we face?
Okay, so finally, my final question would be, what can individuals, organizations, basically anyone looking to know more about mini grids, where can they go? Who can they speak to? If they want to buy, if they just want to, just talk about it and get more information, what resources would you recommend? Where would you say they go to?
Yeah, sure. So at PAM Africa, we just don't focus on mini grids. I mean, we focus on the energy powered problem. So we provide solar home systems, mini grids, energy storage systems, and also other innovation within the sector. Now, you can easily go on our website to kind of see some of the stuff that we're looking at. Our website is very simple, is pamafrica.com, PAM Africa.com, as kind of a key point of contact. But our social media pages are heavily engaged in this space. So I think we have daily posts when it comes to energy challenges and energy problems in this space, and how are some of the top 10 tips and educational materials on our social media pages that can help people to get a better understanding of these technologies and how it can help us get more power to the people. Now, we also have a Medium page where we have longer form content, where we have various blogs and articles talking about various components and various things in the power system. Now, some part of our conversations can lead from energy storage down to e-mobility, down to renewable energy systems. So have a look through our social media platforms on our website, and there should be a significant amount of content that you can dive your hands into to get a better understanding of this. But if you have any challenges, you can always feel free to contact me. Send us an email or a message, or give us a call on our website, and then we can also help have those conversations further with you.
All right. Thank you for taking time out to answer my questions. This has been good. And yeah.
Thank you very much, Princess, and have a nice day too.
You too.